I am demanding.
Go blue. Did Disney just learn a lesson about the phrase go woke and go broke? We face risk relating to misalignment with public and consumer tastes and preferences for entertainment, travel, and consumer products.
Yes, but they're my own original creation. It for her prince to come, but he never did. Because a woman shouldn't have to depend on a man. Snow White was brought back to life by a lady doctor.
She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
I can only make grilled cheese. I'm the hottest person in the world.
You're kidding, right?
I will elbow everyone out of the way.
Snow White is running for president.
Nobody wants a movie about true love?
What happens when Hollywood's next big star becomes the internet's favorite punchline overnight? Rachel Ziegler's meteoric rise and shocking fall might be the most brutal career collapse we've seen in years. One moment she was Disney's golden princess, the next she was being roasted into meme history by not just one but multiple iconic animated shows. And insiders claim the humiliation is far from over. I'm so ready to just throw my phone away. I don't know when it's going to happen, but I know it's going to happen.
It was a magical time, and I'm a Disney princess, and it was just really magical.
Those words from Rachel now seem almost prophetic. According to whispers circulating inside animation studios, writers aren't finished with Rachel yet. The Simpsons' Snow Woke parody tested so well with audiences, spiking online views, TikTok edits, and meme compilations, that producers are allegedly considering weaving her cartoon counterpart into upcoming storylines. This couldn't come at a worse time. Rachel's career is already teetering after the Snow White remake flopped so hard it became a case study in self-sabotage. Her interviews backfired spectacularly, her social media turned into a cringe compilation, and Hollywood insiders are reportedly growing nervous about casting her in anything remotely high profile.
The producers, far left-wing activists in Hollywood, are turning on her, and Disney has canceled all of Rachel Ziegler's appearances on their media platform.
But how did we get here? It didn't happen overnight. What started as mild internet frustration over awkward interviews snowballed into something far bigger. A meme movement, a cultural symbol, a living example of Hollywood losing touch with its audience. For shows like South Park and The Simpsons, Rachel wasn't just an easy target. She was the target. It all began when Rachel's Snow White press tour clips started circulating online. The dismissive comments about the original 1937 film, calling the prince a stalker, and lectures about rewriting fairy tales for modern audiences sounded less like excitement for a beloved role and more like a lecture nobody asked for. At first, it was just frustrated fans venting online. But once the memes started rolling, Rachel's image shifted almost overnight from breakout starlet to out-of-touch Hollywood elite. And the timing couldn't have been worse. In an era where audiences were already exhausted by corporate reboots and heavy-handed messaging, Rachel became the perfect lightning rod. She wasn't just starring in a movie people were skeptical about. She was talking in exactly the way that frustrated them most, preachy, condescending, acting as if anyone who loved the original Snow White was hopelessly outdated. Enter South Park. Their Pandaverse special lit the first match, mercilessly roasting not just Rachel's version of Snow White, but the entire culture around it. The satire was savage, viral, and unforgettable, turning Rachel into a household meme almost overnight. Then came The Simpsons. Their Snow Woke parody didn't just mock the movie, it mocked Rachel's entire public image. The lectures, the entitlement, the disconnect. It hit so hard that writers are allegedly considering weaving her into future episodes as a recurring gag. For Rachel, it's the kind of branding no PR team on Earth can spin away. In Hollywood, stars dream of becoming iconic, but becoming infamous in animated form, that sticks even harder. Long before these animated takedowns, Disney's Snow White remake was already circling the drain. Insiders say panic within Disney's executive halls began months earlier as early audience reactions painted a grim picture. What was supposed to be a nostalgic home run had turned into a catastrophic marketing nightmare. Rumors circulated about the dwarves being replaced with random magical creatures, a plotline focusing more on internal empowerment speeches than fairy tale magic, and Rachel's now infamous comments dismissing the 1937 classic. Fans who had lined up for previous Disney remakes didn't just hesitate this time, they openly revolted. Early box office projections tanked fast. Merchandise tied to the film sat untouched in stores. Retailers slashed prices before the film even hit theaters. By opening weekend, the nightmare had come true. Theaters sat empty. Viral TikToks showed deserted auditoriums. Commentators mocked the film mercilessly, calling it preachy, lifeless, and deeply disconnected from what made the original Snow White magical. The Simpsons Snow Woke parody wasn't just a throwaway gag. It was a surgical strike at the heart of Disney's disaster. In the fake in-universe movie, Snow White wasn't a wide-eyed dreamer waiting for true love. She was a walking corporate checklist lecturing woodland creatures about the patriarchy, rejecting romance, and rolling her eyes at every classic fairy tale trope. Every line felt ripped directly from Rachel's worst interviews, the ones where she dismissed the original film, trashed the prince character, and insisted Snow White needed modernization. It was so on the nose that fans didn't need hints. They knew exactly who was being roasted. Publicly, Rachel stayed silent after The Simpsons aired their brutal parody. But insiders paint a different picture behind closed doors. According to whispers circling Hollywood, Rachel wasn't just embarrassed. She was livid, furious that yet another iconic animated show had turned her into a national punchline. Furious that her nightmare wasn't fading, but intensifying. Sources claim Rachel felt betrayed not just by the entertainment world, but by Disney itself. After all, The Simpsons is technically a Disney property now. Watching the studio that crowned her as their princess sit back while their own cartoon ripped her apart allegedly cut deeper than anything South Park had done. For Rachel, the reality is brutal. Whether fair or not, she's trapped in a vicious cycle. The more she tries to move on, the more cultural forces pull her back. And with rumors suggesting The Simpsons might not be done with her yet, that cycle may spin even faster. There was a time when Rachel had the world at her feet, handpicked by Spielberg, winning awards, and starring in what seemed destined for box office glory. Fans were rooting for her Cinderella story, but somewhere along the way, something snapped. In interview after interview, she casually dismissed the original Snow White, called the prince a stalker, and emphasized her Snow White wouldn't be dreaming about love anymore. What was supposed to sound empowering instead came off as arrogant and ungrateful. The backlash didn't start instantly, it simmered in small Reddit threads and angry YouTube comments. But it grew because every time Rachel spoke about the film, she seemed to dig deeper. Rather than celebrating the magic, she appeared to mock it. Rather than embracing nostalgia, she dismissed it as irrelevant. When the film flopped, fans didn't just sigh and move on. They celebrated its failure openly. Rachel became the face of that disappointment, the emblem of Hollywood forgetting why audiences loved these stories in the first place. Now, insiders claim Family Guy might be eyeing the Snow White disaster for their own future roasts. If that happens, Rachel's memification won't just continue, it will become permanent. Can Rachel claw her way back? Insiders speculate she needs a gutsy indie role that strips away the glitz, a carefully controlled comeback acknowledging past mistakes, or a long break from the spotlight. But even these come with no guarantees, because the memes aren't going away. The animated jokes aren't going away. Rachel Ziegler's face has been locked into pop culture's hall of cautionary tales, and fair or not, it might take an entire generation before her name doesn't immediately summon eye rolls and cartoon parodies. What do you think? Has meme culture already sealed her fate? Or is there a path back to Hollywood's good graces? Drop your thoughts below.